Welcome back. This is Create by Fire, and this is monthly monetization. In this video, we're going to go video by video for everything that was created 2 months ago and go over the 30-day growth, as well as everything created last month and go over the initial stats. We'll also be going over channel stats as a whole, the Amazon affiliate link stats, and the trajectory based on the current growth. So let's get into it. All right, so starting off with the January videos, there's not a lot to note here, so we'll jump past it. We'll skip the Black Ops video. Nothing really changed with that. And the Heroes of Hammerwatch videos have kind of been all over the place. The first episode, of course, was high views, high watch time, and then it started to drop off a bit over time. There's even a subscriber loss to that one, though this one has a subscriber gain back here. But it kind of continued kind of looking like a bit of a downtrend, but then it started to kind of pick back up. I don't remember exactly when, but not really in the January timeframe. But in general, January's videos were, probably on average 15, maybe 20. Yeah, probably about an average of 20 views, I think, because there's a few low ones here. Maybe a little higher. And then for watch time, it's probably, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say without actually doing the calculation, but I'd say roughly maybe 1 watch time hour because this one was pretty high. The rest were kind of a bit lower. But that's kind of where January's videos kind of sat. So on the February videos, we're first going to take a look at episodes 5 and 6. And so for these two, they both, of course, did overall fairly the same, which wasn't great. The one thing that's notable for these is it looks like the highlights in both cases, they did better. So here's the regular episode 5 views and 0 watch time hours. And then the highlights was 17 views and 0.9 watch time hours. And then once again, 4 views and 0.1 watch time hours for the regular episode for episode 6, and then for the highlights it was 20 views and 0.7. So now with episode 5 and 6, it's like, oh, maybe the highlights are what seem to be doing better. But like I said, none of this seems to make doesn't have a lot of consistency. All right, so next up we have monthly monetization, month 4, so last month. And we had 27 views and 1 watch time hours, which is pretty good. I mean, in terms of comparing, it was kind of staying above, and then now it's kind of right where it's towards the high end, but right there in the expected region for how my videos usually go. And of course, as usual, within 4 days, it had everything it was going to do. So not bad, not exceptionally good, kind of probably where I would expect it to be. So after that, we had Heroes of Hammerwatch episode 7, which looked pretty similar to the way 5 and 6 did in terms of performance and in terms of how highlights did better than the regular video. But after that, into episode 8 and all the way to 13, it really tanked. So here we're at 8 views, 0.2, 4 views, 0.1, 3 views, 0.1, 5 views, 0, 3.1, 5, 0, 2, 0. It's pretty bad throughout that whole section. Nothing really above 10, I don't think. And all of the view time has been like basically 0 the whole way through. All the way up to here. And in fact, the graph even changed to show that the typical is way less because the trend shifted, right? And so I don't know how much it's based on, but you can see that it's at least recent enough that it's pretty well basing it off the Heroes of Hammerwatch videos. Then when we get to episode 14, it finally shifts. So see, you can see here at episode 14, I mean, the number of views are still relatively low. It's only 10, but now it's up to 2.2 watch time hours. And the highlights is 0.8, right? So, and 6 views. So together, these two were substantially better than everything before it. And so I'm glad to see that there was a shift over, because it was looking kind of bad for a little while there. And then the last one we have here is episode 15, which is also doing poorly, but it's only 7 days in. I don't know if it's going to pop up anymore, but we'll see how it goes. The other half of this for the highlights are actually in March. All right, so moving on into the March videos. The first one was the episode 15 highlights. I want to take a quick look back at episode 15 here. This one, if you noticed, it was 5 views and 0 watch time hours, which is pretty poor, and it's probably about all it's going to get. But then on the flip side, the highlights did, it was only 4 views, but that was 2 watch time hours. So pretty substantial jump compared to the full version. Though, once again, another loss of 1 subscriber. It is what it is. These are pretty good watch time hours for what I've been getting, especially for only 4 views. That's like 30 minutes on average for each viewer. So that's pretty good. But yeah, so this is kind of where it starts to tick up a lot. So there's 2 hours for this one, and then you get to episode 16, and we have 2.8 watch time hours and 11 views, right? And this is also another case where episode 16, the highlights did better, at least in total number of views, not as much in watch time hours. So 2 hours of watch time, 29 views versus the 11 views and 2.8 watch time hours for the regular episode. So these ones are actually pretty exciting because they did pretty well compared to a lot of the videos from February. And so this is the last February one. It's crap. This is pretty good. This is really good. This is really good. And then as we move into episode 17, we dip a little bit on both the views and the watch time hours for the regular episode, and also for the highlights, though the highlights did get more views than the regular episode. It seems like the general flow of these is that maybe there's a slight edge to the highlights. I'm not really sure. That's just a very basic theory I'm forming there off of very little data. Honestly, if these things were magnified by 100, it would be probably easier to tell a trend, but that's just the general idea I'm seeing at the moment. This one did get a subscriber as well. I don't think these ones did. Just the one that was lost here on 15, and then 1 was gained on the highlights for 17. Now this one's only 3 days in. 4 days is usually kind of the death of videos, as I've mentioned many times. So this might have a little bit more of a boost yet still to come. We'll see how that goes. And this is, so this is very fresh video. And then 18 is even more fresh, and it's not doing too well on the regular video. It only has 1 view, 0 watch time hours. And then the highlights has 6 with 0.6, which is okay. Actually, it's probably pretty good for 1 day in compared to, let's see what the other ones look like. 1 day in, 2 views, and how do we see watch time hours here? 0.1 watch time hours by that time. So yeah, it's doing much better. I would say, well, actually it's 6 times better, right, than this one was around that same time frame. Actually, sorry, not that one. Which one was it looking at? This one. So this one had 0.1, and the number of views back then were 2. So I don't know. I guess 3 times the views, 6 times the watch time hours so far for this one. So that looks like it's on the right track. Episode 19 and 19 highlights, they're technically scheduled. These are fake dates. These were just like placeholder dates so I could get them uploaded. These 2 will actually be going live probably tomorrow and the next day after that. So I'll set those up later. And then there's also an episode 20 coming out and that sort of thing. But as for the stats for February, and I guess technically a little bit into March, that's what we have. So things are starting to kind of uptrend a bit again. It's kind of hit or miss with some of this stuff, but overall, I'm happy with it. All right, so moving on to channel stats. Last month we had 7.8% for the average percent viewed, and this month it's only 6.5%. I think that's mostly probably because the videos are averagely getting longer. Because if you take a look at the average view duration, last month it was 2 minutes and 29 seconds per video, and this month it is 2 minutes and 51 seconds. So people are watching for more. There's just more content compared. So uh, I guess that's a good and a bad. For views, we were at 960 last time, so we're at 11. We'll call it 1160 now. So we went up 200 since last month. That's pretty good. Could be better, but it's pretty good. We'll come back for watch time hours and subscribers in the trajectory section. So for impressions, we were at 53,204 last month. This month we're at 60,608. So another, what is that? Roughly 7,000, I think 6,400 or something. And then for click-through rate, it's roughly the same as last time. It was 1.2%. Now it's 1.3. I don't put a lot of weight into that just because the impressions seem to be wildly out of control and of who it goes to. So it's hard to make any changes that make any difference in captures. So from there, let's go ahead and move on to the aggregation. So here we're looking at everything together where we can see a little bit of the trend over time. So here we're looking at views. Views, started to die off in December, popped back up. We've kind of restabilized in this region. I obviously wanted to go higher, but what I'm more interested in is the fact that the watch time hours have actually gone up pretty well. I mean, back here it was kind of stabilizing in this general zone, and it's still kind of the same zone now, but there's just more peaks and valleys. But it feels like it's starting to get a little bit more, the higher peaks are looking good, is I guess the short of it. So hopefully next month we'll have a little bit more to show here and see a bit more progress to the upside. So that's views, and then subscribers. Unfortunately, those ones have had some dips lately, not really any increases. Hopefully that turns around. I'm not too concerned at the moment for that. It's just, it is what it is, I suppose. And what else is there to look at? Maybe I guess we could take a look at impressions. Like I said before, I don't put a ton of weight into impressions just because it feels a little bit out of control. I haven't really changed the tags that I'm using, but it seems like there's been impacts either way. Actually, I think I started changing the tags for the Heroes of Hammerwatch videos in the very most recent episodes, but I'm not sure exactly if that had any real impact. I didn't change it very much. It was a very slight change. All right, so moving on to Amazon affiliate links, there isn't a ton to update on here. There was only one click throughout the entire duration of February, which brings us to 242 clicks in total. There were 0 ordered, so it's still 33 in total, and no earnings, obviously. So $3.60 total, which, as I mentioned last month, it won't get paid out until you hit at least $10, and until then, it just kind of keeps rolling over. So that's really all there is to report on this one. I think March is also already looking pretty well the same way. So once again, I'll ask if you could click some of the links that are in my video descriptions. And as I mentioned last time, you don't have to actually make purchases with those items. You just have to make any kind of purchase at all on Amazon within 24 hours or something like that of clicking that link, and I'll get credit for commission type stuff. And the only reason why I'm asking, as I mentioned last time, is there's like a requirement to keep the account open. And, I don't exactly know. I'll have to look. I still haven't looked it up yet, but how I think it's 2 or 3 times you have to get a purchase within a like 6-month time frame, which I'm getting pretty close to. So that's the only reason why I'm asking, just to keep the account open. I don't want to have to go through whatever hoops I might have to reinitiate the account later if it closes itself out before I start getting any actual real throughput. I would appreciate it. After recording that part for the Amazon affiliate links, when I was editing, I kind of was thinking of how I can maybe give back a little bit, because I'm asking for purchases for the sake of helping out the affiliate links so that it doesn't get closed. And what I came up with for now, at least, is so I have a lot of Steam keys, and I can give those away basically. So the rough idea that I came up with is for every qualifying purchase that happens in March, I will put into the pool 5 keys and dish those out to people in the comments. So leave a comment, even if you don't make one of the purchases, it doesn't matter. Just leave a comment saying that you would like some of these Steam keys, and you'll kind of be put in to the list to be able to potentially get these keys, right? So I'll put in 5 into the pool for every purchase that's made, and we'll see how it goes between now and next month's video. So I'll talk about this again in next month's video to see what happened and what the exact distribution plan will be for these keys. All right, so moving on to current stats and trajectory. We have 51 out of 1,000 subscribers, which is 5.1%. That's down 2 from last month because we had some losses, and I think we lost 3 and then gained 1, so the net was a loss of 2. So we're down from 53 from last month. Hope to turn that around. And then 55 out of 4,000 watch time hours, which is pretty good. That's 1.38%. And that is up 16 from last month's 39. So that's a pretty good jump. And this is all over the course of 161 days. And based on that trajectory, it'll take 2,996 days to reach the sub goal, which is May 21st, 2033. And comparing that to last month, it did, obviously, because we lost some. Last month, it was January 13th, 2032. So we jumped a little more than a year there. However, for watch time hours, we did make a pretty good jump forward. So we're at a trajectory of 11,506 days for watch time hours to reach the 4,000 mark. And that would be September 9th, 2056. Still obviously a joke at this point, because, that even if I reached at that point, it has to be within 1 year. But, I still like to go over these stats. Comparing to last month, it was July 19th, 2062. So that's a jump of roughly 6 years. And that's pretty big. I mean, if we keep going in this kind of trajectory and start to grow in that manner with watch time hours, it's going to shrink pretty fast. It's still going to take a while from now, but I do like how it's kind of turning around. So hopefully some of these Heroes of Hammerwatch videos continue to help that trend. I'm also going to be putting out more of the Black Ops 6 videos. I've been getting around finally to editing some of those. I'll start putting those out as well. Some of this I'll also go over in the weekly, or not weekly, but YouTube Chronicles, which I haven't done in a while, but I'm trying to get back into that as well, at least occasionally. Right. So in general, I think the channel is doing so. I'm happy with it. It's not doing like phenomenal by any means, but it's growing, it's evolving. It's taking me a long time, but I'm still just chipping away at it and seeing kind of what works, what doesn't. Try to give some of that insight back to you guys as I can. I know it's been a little bit limited lately, but hopefully some of these YouTube Chronicles, I get back into those and start to give a little bit of perspective of what I'm doing and what I'm seeing as, a small YouTube creator. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to join me on my journey from zero to YouTube hero. This is Create by Fire.